And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and I was actually pretty excited to see Creepy Falls because the front of it shows, vampires and werewolves and witches and werewolves. Oh my, it kind of looks like the Monster Mash, the fun kind of, monsters who are scary, but not quite. This is a worker placement game, area control game. It has different monsters that do different things. Really cool ideas. Let's see if the game's any good. Here's the board, and each player is going to, at the beginning of the game, they're going to pick a starting force. So you're going to pick some ghouls here. You can take 5 ghouls and 2 tokens. You can take 3 ghouls and a Frankenstein. You can take 4 ghouls and a mummy and get no tokens. You're going to pick one of these groups to start with. And then you're going to start the game. Now, the object of the game is to get these tokens here. Blood tokens are worth 1 point at the end of the game. Soul tokens are worth 2 points. There's other tokens that you'll get throughout the game, but those tokens are mostly currency. Starting with the first player each round, each player is going to go through and pick a personage, so you can form, human form, dark hunter, acid fog, flying fox, wild animal, swarm of rats, and cloud of bats, which sounds like a really bad poem. So you're going to pick one of these, and then you're going to do worker placement. People are going to place these guys out on the board. Now, when you place them, you're going to pick a spot and put them on the top line. You can put out as many people as you want, but they all have to be in the same line when you put them out. And once you put people in a location, you can no longer put people in that location. Some exceptions. Frankenstein. If you have him at a location, later on, you can add more. You can do that once, and you put Frankenstein down to show you've done that. Mummies can also go to a location after, later on I might add a mummy to a location. There's also werewolves and witches, and if they're at a location, nobody else can be at that location. So players are going to go around placing things at the different locations. When they're done, whoever has the most at a location will get the first advantage, and second most, third most. Frankensteins and werewolves count as size 2. Everyone else counts as size 1 except witches are size 0. Whoever has the most will get whatever that location has. So for example, here in the Rotten Swamp, whoever has the most here will pick 3 of these tokens. Second most gets 2 of the tokens. Third most gets 1 of those tokens. Up here in the Shadow Forest, whoever has the most gets 2 amulets. Second gets and third get 1 amulet. Over in Vladovik Village, you get some tokens. And most of the spots on the board are getting more tokens. There are some exceptions over here in Karloff 113. You can take people and transform them. I can turn a ghoul into a token of my choice, or a ghoul into a mummy, or I can turn a ghoul into a Frankenstein by getting rid of another ghoul. So that's ways to kind of transform them into other things. And that's pretty much it. At the end of a round, players can buy more stuff with these tokens that they've gotten. So I can essentially pay the ghoul tokens or the corpse tokens to get more ghouls. Mummies, or the only way you can get mummies is by transforming them. But I can also buy more Frankensteins. Werewolves and witches can be bought with amulets. You also might want spells. And to do that, you're going to be using the Grimoire tokens, and you take these teeny little tokens here and place them. You have to take a level 1 spell before you get level 2, and these are going to change how you place in the game. Now, a couple other things. First of all, these different forms are going to give you advantages. So for example, if this guy wins, if you're the human and you win in these 3 places, you get 2 extra tokens. This guy here, if you the Dark Hunter, if you win in these locations, you get more. The Acid Fog, you can move this dice and shut a location down. This dice also keeps track of how many turns the game has left. The Flying Fox, you can pass twice as people are placing things out, so you can see what everyone else does. The Wild Animal, you can get some bonuses if you sell things in the selling phase. Swarm of Rats, you get to put out these 3 rat tokens on the board, and any place where a rat token is, you win ties. The Cloud of Bats, you can take a ghoul and put it back on the board as if it was a mummy. So that's pretty much it. Those are the different things that you can have. You're going to keep going over 6 rounds, and at the end of 6 rounds, you're going to add up your tokens, and whoever has the most of the blood and the soul tokens is the winner of the game. Creepy Falls can be summed up really in one word: mess. The game is just a big mess. Okay, so you have these tokens here, and there's so many tokens in this game. And they're hard to sort out. They look very similar. They, for some reason, are only printed on one side. I guess that's so you can keep your tokens hidden from other people, but means sorting them out and finding them is a real pain. When you look at the board themselves and you see what locations give what tokens, your eyes will cross and you're always like, okay, soul tokens do this. Which tokens do I turn in? It's just a mess. Even the meeples themselves, the little ghoul meeples and the werewolf meeple, weeples, or whatever, all those, once they're on the board, they look similar. And you're constantly saying, okay, the Frankenstein is the one I put something on afterwards, while the werewolf comes on after this. And the forms, don't get me started on the forms. The forms are cool, right? But you sit there and you're like, I don't know which one to take. The first time you play, and after a while, you're like, okay, I'll take this one. And everyone's like, he's going for those 3 spots on the board, stop him. And you're like, oh. And that moving the die to shut down an area, why do I want to do that again? The rats make sense. That's a good one because it helps you win ties in areas. But the game just feels muddled. As you put out workers and you're trying to win things, you can't win many things. You're like, I'll win this, I'll win that. Someone else beat me here. Oh, I'll go here and you get some tokens. What can I do with these tokens? The spells are amazing. They're really cool. They're the coolest part of the game because they change how your stuff works. They make your werewolves bigger. You can now put your werewolves with other creatures. You have these special abilities. But the little tokens put there, first of all, that's awful. Secondly, you have to constantly be looking there. What special abilities does everyone have? And thirdly, they're really hard to get. The grimoires aren't that easy of tokens. There's only a few spots to get them. Everyone's fighting over them, so whoever gets them definitely has a leg up on everyone else. I like the whole monster theme, but when you look at it, this game feels like you're getting tokens here, turning them in over here, getting them over here. Almost every spot on the board is get tokens. There's one that's upgrade people. The rest are get tokens. So go here, get some tokens, go here, get some tokens, go here, get some tokens. Use these tokens to buy more creatures so you can go out and get more tokens and do this and ad nauseum, ad nauseum, ad nauseum, ad nauseum. And really, this game feels like someone brought in this copy and they said, try this out. And if I saw this, I'd be like, okay, you got some ideas here. Let's finish this. This game doesn't feel finished. It feels like half of a game. Like I said, the dark tokens and the very similar looking meeples all over the board causes a visual disconnect, right? The forms sound really cool, like I will be a human form or a dark form or bats. But they're not that interesting. The fact that at the very beginning you're forced to pick starting stuff. Should I take 5 ghouls or 4 ghouls and a mummy? Why would I not take the 5 ghouls when I can probably go change one of those ghouls into a mummy anyway? I don't know. It just feels very muddy, which is too bad because I feel like horror themes, they're almost always Cthulhu. This is a fun horror theme with the mummies and the vampires and I don't know, everyone's get together and have a party at the end of the game. I'm not even really sure what the theme of the game is. But this whole Transylvanian type style stuff, I like that idea, but it just doesn't work here. Too bad. Creepy Falls. Cover looks fun, but the game, unfortunately, is not. Dice Tower Judgment doesn't feel finished.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.